Hello and welcome to Cretaceous Cantina, where today we're having a look at the Mattel Jurassic World Dino Rivals Wave 3 Attack Packs featuring Mussaurus, Proceratosaurus, and Velociraptor Charlie. I've been picking these up at Walmart. I have not seen them at Target yet. I got those two probably about a month back, and then this one I just barely found earlier this week at Walmart, so finally getting around to doing a review for them. Not a whole lot to say about the packaging. It's pretty much the same thing we've been seeing so far this year. The back of each of these shows the exact same thing. It shows you the entire wave. The one carry forward figure we get in this wave is going to be the Dracorex, who we've been seeing since the very first wave from late 2018, early 2019. Of course, two of the items in this wave are repaints of previously released figures, such as Proceratosaurus, which we did get last summer, and Velociraptor Charlie, who is a repaint of the Attack Pack Raptor that we've gotten, I've lost count tons of times at this point. Alright, so I'm going to take a minute, get these guys unboxed. When we come back, we will take a closer look. Alright, so here are the dinosaurs out of the packaging. Now, just a moment ago, I said that two of these were repaints. I was actually wrong because looking at Velociraptor Charlie, it is obvious that this is a retool rather than a repaint. So let's go ahead and start off with Charlie and see exactly what's different this time around. So on first glance, it does in fact look like the Velociraptor we've gotten time and time again in this line, but the legs are actually a bit different. It seems like it stands a little taller. I'll go ahead and bring another one in just a second so we can compare them. But first, let's take a look at the sculpt on this one. Now, perhaps it's just mine, but I do see that it leans a little bit to its right. It seems like it's a little bit hard to stand. I don't know if that's because of the legs being different from before. That's just the way it's supposed to be, or there's some warping or something going on. But either way, it's a little bit frustrating. The sculpt isn't too bad. It's not that great either. It's basically very similar to any of those previous attack packs. If you've seen any of those, then you're going to know what to expect here. But it's not all bad. It's decent enough for an attack pack figure, but anything above the $8 price point, I don't think this would be really suitable. Taking a close-up look at the head sculpt, it looks fairly decent. I think the overall silhouette and proportions of the head are very accurate. However, the detailing and the sculpting and texturing isn't that detailed. It's pretty soft. So they did nail the overall silhouette, but the detail just isn't really there all that much. I think the legs actually and the arms look a little more textured. You can see a little bit more going on here in them. And the tail is actually pretty proportionate to the body, which isn't always the case with these raptors. For the Attack Pack Raptor, they've kind of always done a pretty good job with the tail. I wish it was straight rather than curved, but it's not all bad. At least it is a very proportionate raptor, if nothing else. Yeah, the feet are a little bit oversized, but you kind of need that in order to get it to balance. So looking at the coloration, this is supposed to be Charlie from Jurassic World. And I guess it is close enough because it's green, but it's not exactly what we see in Jurassic World. I think that Charlie actually had more like black stripes on her in addition to the green. So obviously, Mattel decided that it was best just to throw, green at this figure and then call it Charlie rather than actually try to recreate Charlie. So that is a little bit disappointing. But I don't know that I would expect them to do anything, all that much more detailed than what they did here. I guess I would. I would honestly expect a little bit more from Mattel. But looking at past attack packs, it kind of makes sense that they took this approach instead, because that's kind of what they've been doing all along with these. They're very simplistic. Paint operations are very simple on these guys. So you basically have like a pistachio green color, and at the top you have more of this jungle green color that goes from the head all the way down into the tail, or at least the beginnings of the tail. And it looks like it's a little bit darker like towards the head, and then it gets a little bit lighter like on the back and on the tail. So and they did not paint the claws. They maybe glossed them a little bit, but they didn't actually paint them black or anything. So the eyes actually look pretty good on this one. They're not 100% spot on, but it is very hard to find attack packs with eyes that are perfect. And these look pretty good. I'm pretty happy with these. So you can't open the jaw, as has been the case with any of these attack packs. And the teeth are painted. The insides of the mouth are painted. They're a little bit bright. I don't know that they needed to be that bright. And then you can close it. Eyes just yellow with a green slit. And then the arms are articulated just at the shoulders. You can move them forward and back. Same thing with the legs, forward and backwards movement. That's basically the extent of what this raptor is going to be. You can't really do a whole lot else with it. If you're doing the Jurassic Facts app and you need that scan code, there it is right there. Here's Charlie's card, and you can see the art on here is pretty nice. I think it looks pretty decent. And then here are her stats. She's a little bit strong. She's very fast, she's very smart, and her ferocity is pretty high up there. So pretty cool. Here's a comparison with Velociraptor Delta, which is based on the Attack Pack Raptor we have seen over and over and over and over again. And the only thing I'm seeing that's different here are the legs. So you can see that Charlie has like more of a straight leg on the right, and then Delta has kind of more of a curved leg, like here at the ankle area. And looking at the other leg, you can see that Delta's is more in a crouched position than Charlie's is. It's a little bit more straight. Also, you have these kind of like, I don't know, it looks like they're separate pieces that are attached at the factory. You can see that here, but if you look at Charlie, she does not have that. So they are just sculpted in one piece. So that is interesting. So here's the Raptor squad so far. On the left, we have Velociraptor Blue, then we have Delta, and then we have Charlie. And yeah, I mean, it is nice that Mattel's actually rounding out the Raptor squad. I wasn't really sure early on if they were actually going to do that, but it's nice that they are. However, they're kind of phoning it in. I mean, this really isn't the best representation of Raptor squad. I mean, clearly this isn't the best Velociraptor Blue. I mean, we do have better. I tell you, she's hard to stand. We do have better Velociraptor Blues in the line, such as the Battle Damage, which I think is the best one, and then the recent Savage Strike 2.0 version that I just reviewed recently, probably the second best. This is probably like the most simple blue that you can get. I mean, it doesn't even have like the white outlines along the blue stripe, so definitely not the best. And then, you know, that doesn't look a whole lot like Delta, honestly. She should be more green as well, kind of like Charlie. And then Charlie probably looks better than these two do, but it's still not quite there where it needs to be. And I think they're working on Echo coming into the line pretty soon here, so at least we'll be able to round out the entire Raptor squad. Unfortunately, it's not going to be the best representation of Raptor squad, which is a bit of a bummer. That brings us to Proceratosaurus, who is a species we have seen once before. Last summer, she was released as part of the Attack Pack lineup, and this year she's part of the Dino Rivals Attack Pack lineup. It's kind of a funny looking dinosaur. I mean, it almost looks like she's smiling at us. Proportionately, it looks all right. The tail is a little bit small. This is kind of an ongoing thing with theropods in this line, is that oftentimes the tails are too short. And this is no exception. Way too short, way too skinny. But the good thing, I guess, is that it does look quite a bit different from the original release, and we will compare them in just a little bit. Let's take a close-up look at this head. It looks pretty good. I think they did a nice job with the sculpting. I mean, it is a little bit soft, but when you get farther back here, there is a lot more texture. It looks a lot more interesting back here. Head's a little bit smooth, and the tail's a little bit smooth, except for right here. It's actually got some texture. But again, it is kind of cartoony, and I mean, that's nothing new. We did see that with the original version. So, I mean, it's to be expected. This is kind of a goofy-looking dinosaur. But, yeah, I think what's really different here, though, is the colors. They really separated it from the original release. And basically, the base color seems to be this, dark brown coffee kind of color. And then the orange kind of augments that. So you have like a solid orange tail and orange here on the jaw and a lot of the head. It's kind of like a sweet potato orange, if I were to describe it. And then you have this lighter, more of like a jack-o'-lantern orange here at the top. So pretty interesting. They also painted the horn orange, and the eyes are actually like a pretty nice green color to kind of offset it. So it's a very fall-ish looking dinosaur. And those eyes are painted quite nice. The teeth look to be painted okay. And then we can open the jaw, and there's the inside of the mouth, bright pink. Once again, I don't know who wore it better, me or the Proceratosaurus. I think the Proceratosaurus did it better. And articulation, so you can also move the forelimbs, just swivel them forward and back, and same thing with the legs, they just go forward and back. And if you need that scan code, there it is right there. Here's the card for the Proceratosaurus. As you can see, it looks pretty nice. It looks almost exactly like the toy. Here are her stats. You can see that she's not very strong. She's pretty quick. She has a reasonable intelligence, and she's not that ferocious, but a little bit reasonable. So, yeah, I mean, I guess they could inflict damage if you bothered them, but I get the impression that if you were to see this in Jurassic World out in the wild, it would probably just run away from you. I don't know. Maybe you'd want to be pet or something. Alright, so here's a comparison with the original release Proceratosaurus, and you can see that they are quite different. I don't know which one I prefer. Being completely honest, I really don't know. I kind of like that, but Mattel has done a lot of browns and a lot of oranges, a lot of pumpkin spice sort of stuff. So in that respect, this one is actually quite different. This is one of the darkest dinosaurs in Mattel's line, and I think it stands out for that reason. So I think if I had to pick one or the other, I think I would go with the original by a very slight margin. But I do like the colors on the new one. I think for attack packs, as far as that goes, they actually did a better job on this one and on this one than they tend to do in most of the attack pack figures. So I don't know. That's interesting. They're giving the Proceratosauruses better paint apps than most of the other attack packs. And that brings us to Mussaurus. So I've never heard of this species outside of Mattel's line. I feel like I'm pretty knowledgeable when it comes to dinosaurs. I'm not an expert. I know a good bit, mostly going off of stuff I knew from my childhood and things I've read here and there in more recent years. But this was a new one to me, and I think it's super cute. I think that's the biggest quality I'm taking away from this, is that it's super cute. I mean, just look at it. It's adorable. Looks like it could be a baby, but I think the intent is that it's an adult, I think. But overall, it is fun, and if in fact this is a small sauropod, then I am pretty happy that we're getting more of those in the line, because we desperately need them. In fact, I think this is the first one. Alright, so here's a close-up look at the head. Like I said, I mean, it's cute. It looks a little funny. It almost looks like it has eyebrows, doesn't it? Like it has big eyebrows. And the eye is basically just orange with a little round, like grayish colored pupil. Looking at it from this side, they kind of painted that a little bit low. Unfortunately, you can't see the left side of these guys in the packaging, so you kind of get what you get. So yeah, that's a bummer. But yeah, from this side, it actually looks really good. And I mean, yeah, just look at those cheeks. It is a really cute dino, and you can see that it kind of has like a cobra sort of look to it, actually. Like it's kind of bigger here, then the neck gets smaller until it gets to the shoulders. So that is interesting. I think proportionately, again, I'm not too familiar with the species at all, but I think it looks pretty nice. Like at least just by itself, looking at it, to me it looks proportionate. It's got a pretty nice size tail in comparison with the neck, and the body looks pretty good. And take a look at those limbs. They actually gave them some pretty nice sculpting. You can see lots of little lines in there. And yeah, even the torso, like down here, it's really nicely sculpted. So that is pretty nice. Now, as far as the color goes, it's basically like a very light blue color. It's a really pretty blue color. And it reminds me very much of vintage dinosaur toys from the 80s. Kind of like there was this definitely dinosaurs, Apatosaurus back then, or Brontosaurus it was probably called. And it was very similar in color to this, so it reminds me of that. And then you have this very nice soft yellow on the bottom. It's a gorgeous color palette. Like, honestly, I mean, they did a really nice job with the colors on this one. Then you have this darker blue running all the way from the nose, basically, very close to the tip of the tail. So I got to commend them on the paint apps on this one, because they really did do a good job. And like I was saying earlier, attack packs, you don't always get the best paint apps, but in this case, they did a really nice job, just like they did with Proceratosaurus. So for articulation, you do have a joint here at the neck, and you can see that you get some really nice movements. So kind of looks like it's drinking or it's eating. You can move that back up. All four of the limbs go forward and back. So, very basic movement. Doesn't seem like the tail does anything. So yeah, by and large, it's basically what it needs to be, and that's important when they hit that mark. Here at the scan code, if you need that, there it is. Here is the card that comes with the Mussaurus, and you can see that it looks pretty much like the toy does. The colors are a little bit more muted, but here are its stats. So it's kind of on the lower end of the spectrum. It's definitely not that strong. It's definitely not that fast. It's not going to be outrunning, Allosaurus or whoever's chasing it. It's not that bright, and it's not ferocious. It looks like just a little gentle giant, doesn't it? Like, it's not even a giant, it's tiny. But it looks like it could just be like a little dinosaur you'd see in the petting zoo at Jurassic World or something. But I like it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so there you have it. These are the Mattel Jurassic World Dino Rivals Wave 3 Attack Packs, featuring Proceratosaurus, Velociraptor Charlie, and Mussaurus. Overall, you guys, I think this is a really fun wave. And looking at them here, I think that Mattel was pretty wise to do 3 different colors in this wave. If they did that in every wave, tried to diversify it a little bit, I think they would be better off for it. So you see the oranges, you see the greens, you see the blues, and I'm pretty happy that they did that. Overall, I think that this is a fun wave. I think that even if you are collecting this line, maybe you already have these, particularly Proceratosaurus and the Attack Pack Raptors, you probably want to get these as well because in the Velociraptor's case, it's Charlie, so you kind of need her to round out your Raptor squad. Proceratosaurus is really cool. It's kind of a coin toss as to which one is better, this one or the original release, so I would say get both. And then Mussaurus is a new species, so you definitely need Mussaurus. And I think the execution on Mussaurus is really nice. I'm going to say that she's my favorite in this wave. Second being Proceratosaurus, and third being Velociraptor Charlie. It is cool that Charlie has new legs that we didn't have before on these raptors. However, in my case, it's kind of hard to get it to stand. So that is kind of a big problem. So if you have Charlie, let me know in the comments if you're having that same issue with her standing easily, because mine's wanting to fall over. But yeah, overall, these are cool. I hope that you've enjoyed this video. Let me know your thoughts down below. Which of these three is your favorite? And as always, I'd like to thank you for tuning in to Cretaceous Cantina. Until next time, bye-bye.